Top 20 Dietary Aide Interview Questions and Answers. Dietary aides and dietitians play important roles in hospitals, healthcare facilities, and retirement homes by ensuring that people adhere to proper nutrition, which by far determines how we feel every day. The dietary aide will also come in handy in instances of food allergies and intolerance, which most people face. Given these important roles, facilities are always on the lookout for the most qualified. This article will help you convince the interviewer that you are indeed the best choice for a dietary aide by looking at some of the interview questions that you should expect. Here are some of the common questions in dietary aide interviews. 1. Why are you interested in this job? The interviewer wants to know why you want to work as a dietary aide. You could have tried many professions, but since you chose this specific one, you must have a good reason. Use this chance to sell yourself and avoid mentioning reasons such as good pay. You can talk about your passion for nutrition and eating clean, among many other things. Sample answer. I understood the importance of proper nutrition early in life. I then realized that people were struggling with their choices of food, specifically the elderly, which informed my decision to pursue this career. I would love to help people eat clean and get the bodies they have always wanted through this career. 2. Describe yourself. This is also another common opening question that interviewers ask to get you talking and know more about you as a person. If possible, mention things that make you qualified for this role. You can talk about your work, education, hobbies or abilities. Just make sure that you show a level of enthusiasm when talking about yourself. Sample answer. I am a dietary aide with over 10 years of experience. I have a degree in nutrition and food science from Yale. I am passionate about seeing people eat healthily and live a happy and fulfilling life. I have worked for different facilities over the years, mostly in elderly homes. I meditate and do some yoga, which helps me clear my mind and focus on my roles. 3. How do you envision a day at work in this institution? Do you know some of the things dietary aides do daily in their line of work? This is a pretty simple question that can be answered by either drawing from your experience or the job description. You can draw from what you did daily in your former workplace or whatever is captured in the job description. Sample answer. My daily roles as a dietary aide will pretty much remain the same here. I will assist with cooking and cleaning the kitchen, advise clients on proper nutrition and wellness, and help plan menus. Within these roles, I will mostly spend my day in the kitchen and dining areas. 4. Can you manage a 12-hour long shift or work during the weekends? The interviewer wants to know your availability and flexibility. Long shifts are pretty common in healthcare facilities, which you are expected to understand. You have to try as much as possible to be flexible if you really need the job. Sample answer. I do not mind working on weekends or 12-hour shifts since I understand the dedication that this job needs. I know that occasionally working on Sundays when it is my turn gives some of my colleagues a chance to spend with their families, a favor they normally pay back the next weekend. 5. How good are you at cooking? The interviewer wants you to rate your cooking skills. Note that dietary aides are not cooks or chefs, even though they may be required to help in preparing basic meals. You must therefore have a cooking foundation that can help you prepare meals. Be honest and avoid making promises you will not fulfill. Sample answer. I am a decent cook. I took up cooking as a hobby when I moved away from home and learned how to prepare various dishes. I prepare my meals since I'm not too fond of processed foods. I also cook for my family whenever I go back home. All in all, I can prepare basic meals and a range of other sophisticated cuisines. 6. What would you do if one of your clients came complaining that they are bloated? This is a situational question that seeks to determine how you would approach a certain occurrence. Your answer should show a great deal of professionalism and experience. Envision yourself at work and explain how you would go about the particular situation. Also, show that you know the limitations of your profession. Sample answer. Having dealt with such situations before, I will not ignore them. I will ask about any allergies or food intolerance they have and whether they got the right serving. If everything checks out, I would report the situation to the chief dietitian. 7. When was your last disagreement? Walk us through how you handled the situation. Conflicts are inevitable in workplaces. People can disagree because of many reasons, but how to handle yourself during such instances is all that matters. Be accountable and even admit that it was your fault. Your answer should also show high levels of emotional tolerance. Sample answer. I mentioned my idea and a colleague felt that his was better. He went ahead to rubbish mine and termed it as a rushed poorly and thought of opinion. Instead of getting mad, I acted friendly and told him to enlighten us on his idea without the necessary insults and that we would adopt it if it were viable. He apologized and mentioned that he was having a bad day. His idea was better and we embraced it. 8. How do you feel about cleaning dining facilities? Be careful when answering such questions, since the wrong response can disqualify you fast. This may or may not be part of your job depending on your employer. However, you should always show readiness to help as much as you can. Sample answer. My role as a dietary aide does not stop at preparing the right food and helping my clients with their allergies or food intolerance. I also encourage them to maintain high levels of hygiene in the kitchen and dining tables. I love clean places, surfaces, and utensils and do not, therefore, mind cleaning dining utensils. 9. In your opinion, what is the toughest aspect in this job? What do you find most challenging in this job? Every job has its share of challenges, but some are pretty hard to manage. Mention something that you struggle to deal with daily or an aspect that you would love to do away with instantly. Sample answer. I believe that the hardest aspect of this job is rewiring my clients. Most people are so used to processed foods that helping them quit is a nightmare. Some will also pretend whenever you are around, but go back to their junk foods theorems you are out of the door. Rewiring clients and finally getting them to adopt a healthy lifestyle is, therefore, the hardest part of this job. 10. What do you normally do to ensure that you adhere to all the hygienic standards required in this job? You first need to ask yourself if you know the hygiene standards you must uphold in your line of work. If you do, then what do you normally do to maintain them? There are several answers you can give to answer this question. However, please ensure that they are right and practical. Sample answer. I normally ensure that everything in the kitchen, including the surfaces, is clean when going about my duties. If not, I clean and disinfect them. I also wear the right clothing depending on my assignments. You will find me wearing an apron when preparing a meal. 11. What are the roles of a dietary aide? The interviewer wants to ascertain if you know what is required of you in this job. Can you mention some of the mandates of a dietary aide? This question is particularly easy to answer if you have experience in this job. Mention some of your roles in your former workplace, or better still, refer to the provided job description. Sample answer. The dietary aide has several roles depending on the employer or institution of work. However, some of the most common ones are preparing meals and beverages using specific procedures, setting up tables or dining areas, while maintaining high levels of hygiene, and delivering dishes and trays at the right time and place. They also stock ingredients, monitor inventory and keep track of expenses. 12. What are the qualities that a dietary aide needs to be effective? The interviewer wants you to mention the skills, attributes, abilities, and behaviors that an exceptional dietary aide should have. Ensure that you mention job-specific qualities that you can relate to the role. You can choose to mention and proceed or explain each quality by showing its relevance to the job. However, try to save as much time as possible for the next sets of questions. Sample answer. The dietary aide should have the following qualities. Experience in customer service. Extensive knowledge of sanitation and safety. Ability to prepare meals according to the provided instructions. Excellent communication skills. Stamina and good physical condition. Experience in operating cookware and other related appliance. 13. Mention the main challenge that you faced in your last role. How did you manage it? Every job has its challenges that you will experience as you go about your duties. This question is testing your problem-solving ability. Can you take the initiative and find solutions to different challenges, or will you take the back seat and wait for miracles to happen? This is a chance to bring your problem-solving skills to light. Sample answer. I worked for an old couple who lived alone. They appreciated me being around and would at times introduce me as their son. My lowest moments was leaving them alone at the end of the day. I felt at peace working for them and seeing them happy. Being single and flexible, I decided to move to a neighborhood nearby to monitor them constantly. They appreciated it and even suggested that I move in with them to save my rent money. I politely declined and continued serving them till they breathed their last. 14. How do you stay motivated in this role? Being a dietary aide is not one of the most rewarding jobs, but requires you to put in lots of hours. It is, therefore, quite easy to give up and try something else. The interviewer wants you to mention a source of motivation or inspiration that has helped you reach this far. However, desist from answers like money or any other material benefits you may get from this job. Sample answer. I love seeing people happy. I get the urge to press even harder if my work makes a positive difference in someone. My passion for nutrition and seeing people healthy also gives me the strength to keep on going. I have also found out that reminiscing on my former glories helps me whenever I feel demotivated. 15. Mention a strategy and mindset required for this role. How do you guarantee success in your line of work? Mention a way of going about your duties that helps you achieve success. As for the right mindset, please mention a perspective that has helped you get to wherever you are. Sample answer. I have discovered that the best strategy in this job is always maintaining high levels of cleanliness and hygiene, even when attending to the smallest of activities. One should also have a persistent mindset to encourage or influence clients to eat healthily and give up on their poor eating habits. 16. Why should we give you this job? Why do you believe that you are the best choice out of all the candidates? This is a chance to sell yourself and tell the interviewers why you think you deserve the job. Talk about your skills, experience, or any other positive thing that you will contribute to the workplace. Sample answer. This is my 10th year as a dietary aide, and therefore, I have vast experience in this field. I have dealt with a wide range of clients, including children and the elderly. I can use all that experience to better your health facility and help you live up to your missions and objectives. 17. How important is communication in your line of work? The interviewer wants to know if you understand how important communication is when working as a dietary aide. Remember, this is one of the essential qualities that we mentioned a while back. Sample answer. I believe that communication is critical. It helps me take orders from the dietitian, give orders to the kitchen staff, ensure that food is prepared well, and patients eat their meals on time. It is, therefore, a key skill in my line of work. 18. Have you ever had to collect information at any point of your career? How did you do that? You will be required to obtain the necessary information from your clients. Therefore, it would be best to convince the interviewer that you know and have the right techniques for that. Sample answer. I once came across a patient who did not have any dietary records. I could not proceed since her file was empty. I contacted her parents and physicians, who informed me of her dietary specifications and some of her disorders while growing up. I put up a conclusive file and went ahead to prepare meals depending on the information offered. 19. What do you understand by a balanced diet? This is a technical question that seeks to determine how good you are at your job. You don't need the experience to know what a balanced diet is. Therefore, answer this question perfectly. Sample answer. A balanced diet is a meal that has all the major nutrients. It should have carbohydrates, vitamins, fats, minerals, and water. 20. How would you handle an elderly patient who refuses to eat? The interviewer wants to know how competent you are at your job. Can you handle an elderly patient who has refused to eat? You can draw from an experience, if any. However, make sure that you depict high levels of professionalism from your response. Sample answer. I will give the patient some time, and once they are in the right moods, give him or her the food again, or offer a different meal, especially one they find enjoyable. Conclusion. These 20 questions sum up some of the common questions interviewers ask in dietary aid interviewers. Take some time and think of the right responses that you can give the interview. Also, work on any other necessary skills to increase your chance of landing the job. We wish you all the best in and after your interview.